Good afternoon, everybody. Pigskin Pete here. Happy Saturday to everybody. I got a new idea and it's great. June, July, what do football fans start thinking about? We start thinking about NFL fantasy football. Well, I'm going to make college fantasy football. Now, since the NFL only has 32 teams and the NCAA has 132 teams, I'm not going to do, I'll pick only 9 players out of 132 teams. So I'm going to do 5 different college drafts, one for each conference. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a defensive end, a linebacker, and either a cornerback or a safety. That equals 9. Now, before you start getting on here and telling me, well, that's not how you do it. You got to do this position and that position. This is my draft, okay? Not yours. And also, there is no right or wrong answer to this. This is just mine. Now, a lot of these, this took me a while to do, just to pick 9 players out of the ACC at these positions. Because, I had to choose between a lot of really good players. You may have a completely different outlook on who you pick, and that's fine. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. If you sit down and try to do this yourself the way I did, you're going to find this is a lot harder than you think it is. Let's get right into it. Quarterback position. Well, for the quarterback position in the ACC this coming year, I'm picking Ryan Finley. Now, as a Clemson fan, believe me, I really wanted to pick Trevor Lawrence.
Sunshine.
The reason I didn't is because he hasn't started the game yet, and we don't know if he's going to start the season or when he does come in during the season. I do think he will end up being the best quarterback in the ACC eventually, but for this year's purposes, in this draft, I'm picking Ryan Finley. He was the best quarterback stat-wise in the ACC last year. Now, DeAndre Francois from Florida State, we don't know if he's going to play yet either. He's coming off of a horrible injury, and also I think he got in some trouble in the offseason, so he may even be looking at suspensions. He's just too much of an unknown at this point. So for that reason, I'm picking Ryan Finley. He's proven. He's a returning starter, and he's a very good quarterback. So Ryan Finley's my pick from NC State. Next, 2 running backs. The first running back I'm taking, Travis Etienne. Now last year, Travis Etienne was a true freshman. He averaged 7.2 yards per carry. He split reps with 2 other running backs, so he wasn't the workhorse for that team. But as far as natural talent alone, this guy is really special. His biggest problem last year wasn't necessarily running the ball. His biggest problem was pass protection. He had some games there, did not know who to block, and that's true freshman type mistakes. He'll improve on that this year. I do think he will get the majority of the carries this year, even though Feaster and Choice still play for the team, and they're both going to get a lot of touches too. But this guy is explosive, and I think that you have a chance to see him do something really special this year. So Travis Etienne from Clemson. Running back number 2, A.J. Dillon, Boston College. He'll be a sophomore this year. He had a great year last year as well. 7 touchdowns, 4.6 yards per carry, 1,500 yards on the ground as a freshman. He actually got off to a really slow start the first few games. So that 1,500 yards and 7 touchdowns and 4.6 yards per carry really happened within a 6-game span, maybe 7. He's even, not real high on the Heisman list, but he's on it. The dude is a beast, and I really like A.J. Dillon out of Boston College. Next, wide receivers. We're going to pick 3. First wide receiver I'm taking, Hunter Renfrow, Clemson. Now, you might be saying to yourself, oh, of course you're taking Hunter Renfrow. You're just a homer. Well, chew on this stat. Mr. Reliable. Last year, Hunter Renfrow, 45 targets, 0 drops. That's 100% catchable ball percentage. I don't think that's ever been done before. You can throw out the big plays he makes in big games in both national title games. The dude is a beast. Throw it his way, he'll catch the ball. Hunter Renfrow. Number 2, Jacoby Myers, NC State. The guy is a king of statistical football, and he has Ryan Finley throwing him the ball. The only thing that pisses me off about Jacoby Myers is the fact that he does not play for Clemson. Next, Nyquan Murray, Florida State. Another very reliable receiver. Only 1 drop and 54 targets last year. Yes, 1 drop, 54 targets, and that was with James Blackman throwing him the ball. People love to look at how many touchdowns these receivers have. How many yards do they have? What I want to know is, when you throw the ball to them, do they catch it? Catching the ball is what's most important. And besides that, he's a great player. I really, really like Naquan Murray. Defensive end. Well, this is easy. This isn't even me being a homer. Clelin Ferrell. Now, Clemson has 2 All-American defensive ends in Austin Bryant and Clelin Ferrell. Clelin Ferrell will be a first-round draft pick, probably in the top 10 overall after next season. This guy is an absolute monster. Now, he does play other positions. He's listed as a defensive end. He will play some tackle as well. He could play anywhere on the defensive line for any school in the country, but he plays for Clemson. So when you have other elite players at the position, I mean, you can interchange these guys, but Clelin Ferrell as a defensive end is an absolute monster and nightmare for anybody. Just last year alone, he registered 18 tackles for loss and 9.5 sacks. And believe me, Austin Bryant wasn't far behind. I'm talking about maybe 17 tackles for loss and 8.5 sacks. I mean, they were right there together. But Clelin Ferrell is a man amongst boys. Now, these last 2. So you see, and I picked 3 Clemson players in this draft. And that's not necessarily just because I love Clemson. It's because Clemson is so loaded as a team and such a veteran team. It's not a knock to any other teams right now, okay? So don't take it the wrong way. But these last 2 players, I said 1 linebacker and then 1 defensive back, whether it's a cornerback or a safety. They both come from the same team, and it's not Clemson. They both come from Miami. Miami's defense is for real. They were for real last year. They're going to be for real again this year. At linebacker, I'm taking Shaq Quarterman. Miami lost a lot of really good talent on defense last year, but there are a few players that they're returning that are very, very good players. As a matter of fact, linebacker core might be the best in the ACC and is certainly the best position group on their team as a whole. He's got 83 tackles lifetime. The dude's a beast. Watch out for him. Anybody who doesn't want to have this guy on their team is an idiot. So at linebacker, Shaq Quarterman. Now in the defensive backfield, you guessed it, I'm taking Jaquan Johnson. Lots of rumors last year whether he was going to leave early for the NFL. He shut those rumors down pretty quickly, though, and decided to come back for the 2018 season. Now, if you look at his stats, I'm not going to go through the whole stat sheet with all these players because stats to me are a little bit boring. I mean, I like to point out, highlight certain stats for certain players, but this is not a stat channel, okay? What I like to see out of him, first of all, is his dedication to his program. He had a 3rd-round grade to go in the draft, decided to come back. I really respect that. And on a great defense that lost a bunch of really great players, to have a veteran like him come back and be a leader is a big, big deal for them. I expect to see Jaquan Johnson wearing that turnover chain a lot this year. So with my final pick, out of Miami, Jaquan Johnson. Tell me why I'm wrong. This college football fantasy draft thing seems like it's going to be fun. Give me your opinion on who you would take in the ACC, and I'll see you next time with another conference. Have a great day. Pigskin Pete checking out.